Hi, good morning. Welcome to Cattus Island County Park. It is a gorgeous day here at Cattus Island, and we are up here at our Bay Beach. So if you walked our main trail all the way to the end, this is a beautiful spot that you would end up. And today we are doing a great activity called seining. But first, before we get to seining, I'd love to introduce you to our staff that we have here today. My coworkers are joining me for the first time together on Facebook Live, and I'm so happy to be together with them. You may have seen Megan Zorns, one of the senior park naturalists, before on our Facebook Live, and she is here today to help us with seining. And I'd love to introduce Crystal Smita, our recreation leader and the person who is in charge of our animal room. So all those great videos you saw of our awesome animals, mostly due to Crystal's great care and managing of those animals. So we're so excited to have them here today as we go seining. Now, seining is an activity we have done here at Cattus Island for about 35 years. This is an activity that many school classes come in the spring and in the fall to do, to learn about what animals actually live out here in the bay by a hands-on interactive activity, seeing these critters up close and personal. So we have some equipment that we do use for the seining activity. The first item is waders. So Megan and Crystal are wearing waders. This is designed to keep them nice and dry. They have their socked feet inside their boots. They pull up these waders like they're putting on a big pair of pants, and then they have these little clippies that they clip on to keep them nice and dry. So we don't ever go seining without waders. There's glass and other things that can be stepped on. There are jellyfish that can come and get you, and crabs as well. So we always go seining with our waders. So also, the main part of seining is using a seining net. This seining net is about 25 feet long. You can use up to a 50-foot seine net without a permit, but we tend to like the 25-foot. It's a little bit more manageable. And on our seining net, you'll see on the top of the net are these white things. Any guesses as to what these white things could be? They're on the top of the net. The net tends to go this way. And these are very light. They're styrofoam, they're floats. So they're designed to keep the top of the net floating on top of the water. Now, opposite of the floats, down on the bottom of the net, you have these little metal pieces, little sinkers or weights. And these weights keep the bottom of the net down onto the bottom of the bay floor. So we're actually making a fence or a wall as we're catching our creatures. Now, on either end of this net are poles. So on those poles is where we station our seines, we call them. And our seines are going to get ready to go out into the bay. When they're seining, they're going to hold their pole really in a specific way. So it is fun and easy to go seining, but there is a little bit of tricks to it. There are techniques, one of which is how you hold your pole. You kind of want to hold it at an angle like Megan has and Crystal, kind of like you're shoveling snow. It's sort of a great angle. If you were to hold it too high, the fish actually would swim underneath the net. And if you would kind of drag your net a little bit too low, the fish would swim over it. So that kind of gives a nice angle as they're going through the water. So Megan is going to head out. Now, the body of water that Megan's heading out into is called Silver Bay. Silver Bay is a fairly shallow bay. Megan and Crystal probably could walk across to the other side if they wanted to. They're going to stretch that net all the way across. And you can see how it forms like a fence or a wall. And they really have to work together. So this is such a great activity for a class to do. We try to have the kids take turns in the waders. And it's a really teamwork activity, getting that net out and back in again. See how that net makes kind of a pocket or a scoop in the middle? That's what's corralling all those critters that are out there in the bay. Now, seining could be used to catch bait. It also can be used for scientific purposes. So we actually have scientists that come here to Cattus Island every 2 weeks from Barnegat Bay Partnership. They seine right here at this beach, and they record what they catch all summer long. So that's real science going on here at Cattus Island, doing the same method that Crystal and Megan are using. So as they come up the beach, you could do seining perfectly up until this point and still lose your catch. So they really are making sure that the bottom of their poles are pointed towards each other, and they're going to make a little pocket as they come up the beach. All right, we'll just close that net up a little bit until we can get to it. Keeps them nice and moist and damp. Check out that crab. That's a blue crab. That crab is just wondering what's going on. He's using his claws to protect himself. He's not too sure what's going on. And he's going to make his way right back out into the bay. There he's going to hang out. We can see some smaller crabs. And we have these little fish that the ladies are picking up. These are called silver sides or spearing. Silver sides or spearing are a popular bait fish that can be found around here. They do not last too long out of the water, so we do like to put them in kind of quickly, either back into the bay or into the water, so that they can breathe the oxygen in the water. Now, if we happen to have a fish that we might lose or might pass away in the process, we do return it back into the bay, and it does become a great food source for the crab that we caught, or possibly birds that come by. All right, so it looks like we got quite a good catch that we found out there. As they're looking a little bit more specifically into the net and into the putting stuffed critters back, I'll show you what we have here. We got some flounder. Now, maybe you might have had flounder for dinner at some point, or went fishing for flounder. And we actually have two types of flounder. We have a summer flounder and a winter flounder. You see how their mouths are on the different sides of their faces? Aren't they crazy cool? So these are young flounder. They can get to be about the size of a doormat when they're adults. I'm going to put them back into the water because I don't want to stress them out too much. Most of the critters that we do find here around Cattus Island are very small critters. They're actually feeding around the salt marsh and getting food. And then they're going to venture out into the bigger parts of the bay and grow bigger. So if you are into fishing for like bluefish or striped bass or even flounder, these are where these young creatures kind of begin their lives and where they grow. Do you see this little snake-like thing swimming around? I don't know if I can catch him. Oh, oh, oh. That's an American eel. A little tiny American eel. These guys are awesome creatures. They're a creature that actually can go from freshwater to saltwater and back again. They travel great distances to breed and to reproduce. And they're just an amazing little creature to find out here. Now, a little bit earlier today, we did do a seining trial before we came on video, just to kind of see what was out here. And we found some other critters as well. Now, we saw that flounder before. And this is another flatfish. Let me see if you'll let me catch him. He's the lesser known fish called a hog choker. He's like a flounder, but he's shaped very, very round, not as long, and it doesn't get quite as big as a flounder. But this guy's another flat bottom fish called a hog choker. Let's see. Oh, one of my favorite friends. Look at this little guy. She might even do something. She might even puff up. This is a northern pufferfish. Pufferfish are also known as blowfish. So when they're upset or feel threatened, she's starting to do it now, she's going to fill up with air or water, make herself really big so that she can protect herself. That's called the northern puffer. I'm going to put her back though because I don't want to get her too upset. Now when we're seining here at our Bay Beach, we'll often keep some of these really great creatures for our aquarium tanks back at the Nature Center. So we actually do have a permit to seine and also to collect in certain bodies of water in Ocean County for education. So I don't want to encourage you just to go out and go seining and bring stuff back to your fish tank at home. We specifically have permits for education to be able to collect these types of species and house them back at the Nature Center. We'll make sure that they get acclimated and that they're eating well. They'll stay probably the summer and then may get released in the fall right back where we found them again. Also, seining is not an activity that you would do in fresh water. It's not legal to seine for bass or pickerel or sunfish. It's an activity really for around here used in the bay, like in brackish water. And I really don't recommend seining in the ocean as well. Definitely not with a pair of waders on, which could be very, very dangerous. So it's really a great activity for catching bait. So if you're a fisherman who are looking for some spearing to go fishing, that's a great way that you could find them. Crabs, you can catch crabs, but they need to be a legal size. So remember that. You don't want to take these teeny tiny little guys, like this one. Let's see what he's going to do there. Okay, these are much too small to be even eaten or kept. But we did definitely want to show them to you. We do have some vegetation that we caught as well. This vegetation is so cool. This looks like a plastic bag. It's not. It's actually material that feels just like lettuce. This is called sea lettuce. And sea lettuce is an important vegetation that grows out in the bay. It grows very much like a lawn. And it provides food and shelter for all these creatures that we've caught here today. So it's a really important asset in the bay. We also have a little creature that we'll find a little bit more as we go along. Little jellies. This is a little comb jelly. He's not a jelly who has any stinging cells, so I can kind of hold on to him. But as we go through the summer, we'll see a variety of different jellyfish that will come up along the shoreline. Jellies called stinging nettles, which add some little tentacles on them, which are a little inconvenient when you're going seining, but it's also very fun. So if you have any comments or questions for us, please give us a shout out. Megan, Crystal, or myself will get back to you with any of your questions. Please go outside and enjoy this gorgeous day today. We're going to take off next week. We do have a holiday coming up next week for the 4th of July. So we're going to take that weekend off, and we're going to see you in the next time around. So thank you so much. My name is Nikki Vernachio and Crystal Smita and Megan Zorns, and we're here at Cattus Island County Park. Thanks and enjoy your day.